Yes, my people, as it dey hot, e don happen o. Peter Obi na man you be. My obedient family, just dey share this video and just dey drop your comments on the comment section. Just dey comment obedient. Make una see the way this man take talk good about Peter Obi. E no be like the rest presidential candidates wey say if they dey campaign, that they always wan insult one person or the other. Peter Obi has not done that before. He's always civil. Please, my people, una not talk too much because now say I too dey talk too much. So make una just watch the video. Just before you watch am, just share and comment. Watch the video and hit the like button. Make this video for go viral.
That Nigerians are aware that the man who has been the most civil is Peter Gregory Obi. The man who has been most respectful of the other candidates is our principal. But let me say, very, very importantly, that the reason our principal hasn't given that statement that proceeded from the APC vice presidential candidate a major concern is that if you look at the anatomy of our politics since the campaigns began, you will understand that one candidate is apparently the most serious. His message resonates. He's gone across the country, he's talking to people, and there's a monstrous following. So you don't refer to that candidate as a joker. Is it a joke that we left the cliche 4 men or people tweeting in a room or sending messages to becoming the most talked about ticket, the most talked about candidacy? Is it a joke that Nigerians troop out in the streets across the Federal Republic of Nigeria to salute and identify with the candidacy of Peter Gregory Obi? Is it a joke that essentially he's the one who has spoken to Nigerians at home and in the diaspora over 57 times since he got the ticket of the Labour Party? Is it a joke that Edo State was shut down because of obedience across the country? You heard the Oba of Benin when he talked about interrogating the child, the Middle Ages, and people above 90, and they said that they know the candidate of the Labour Party. Is it a joke? Is it a joke that Benue State was agog with support for Peter Gregory Obi? It's not a joke. So why would you address people who are involved in gibberish, hubris, and tummy rot? Why would you address it? You know, fundamentally, what we have on our political kaleidoscope presently, my dear brother, is the fact that some people are apparently frustrated, some people are apparently scared, some people are apparently jittery because Nigerians have risen in their numbers and they're ready, willing, and able to take back their country. What we're talking about is politics of issues. That was why Peter Gregory asked the obedience across the country to remain civil. You know, Steve had said on this forum at some point that the obedience are not unruly. The obedience are fierce. They believe that the time to take back their country is now. I'll give you a stance of what you call unruly conduct and unruly statements. The vice presidential candidate of a party refers to one of the leading presidential candidates as a joker, calls him Gringory. That's unruly. That's disrespectful. Some others are apparently everywhere, like you use the word Pumel. It's all about P2B, and it is a function of their frustration, is a function of their jitteriness, is a function of their desperation. But we're not deterred, we're not bothered. What is important for us is to keep preaching the message and to re-energize the Nigerian people and tell them that power can truly be taken back by the Nigerian people, and that come 2023, we shall have a new republic, a new day, a new tendency in governance, and Nigerians will definitely be the owners of their democracy. When we talk about freedom of speech, fantastic. We must continue, like our principal, Peter Gregory Obi has said, we must consistently deal with issues rather than the persona. We must consistently handle our issues with candor and civility rather than throwing darts. And obedience are number one in candor, civility, and comportment. You have seen the diatribes of the likes of Dino Melai. You have seen the diatribes of the likes of Reno Mokri. You have seen the diatribes of the likes of my friend and brother Festus Keyamo. But the obedience have fiercely conducted their campaigns. They're talking about issues and the need to take back our country for good. Principally, let me say that regarding what happened at that town hall meeting, I'll give you a practical instance. Between two presidential candidates debating in the United States of America, at some point, Biden turned up to George Bush and said, "Shut up and stop lying." You know, that is not an insult. But that was a statement of fact because he was consistently lying. What Dino did was try to get under the skin of our principal, and to caution him was appropriate and right, because you don't consistently try to get under people's skin and then watch them. If he hadn't done that, Dino perhaps wouldn't have behaved, and that town hall meeting would have been rancorous and unruly. But I say with all sense of respect that those who think that we have a candidate who will cower are uninformed. That we're resolute, civil, and well-behaved does not mean that we don't know when to ask people to behave rightly. Dino has consistently in several fora been very unsenatorial. And come to think of it, the time has come for somebody to ask him to behave right when it has to do with issues that are fundamentally important to how our nation is governed. I want to say that if you were to make a comparative, and this is sincere, a comparative analysis of what obtains in our political amphitheater presently, the most and the best behaved team in the political contestation and power struggle for 2023 are the Obedience. We have talked about fundamental issues about how we must take back our country for good. We've talked about how between the Leviathan, the APC, and the Behemoth, the PDP, it's been about 23 years of failure. Lights out, 23 years of economic uncertainties, 23 years of joblessness, 23 years of an educational sector that has gone almost kaput and comatose. It's been about 23 years of failure and failed promises. So if the Obedience are fierce about it, that's not being unruly. If the Obedience are dealing with issues, that's not being unruly. The Obedience are saying that the time has come for us to take our country from the nada to the promise. The Obedience are saying that this is the time to revolutionize how we are governed. This is the time to reset, reshape, and restructure our country for good. This is the time to make good values and integrity, as well as capacity and competency, the summum bonum on our political amphitheater. And these are fundamental issues that we must celebrate and hail the Obedience for, rather than throw darts and invectives at those who truly mean well for our country. And interestingly, Section 97 of the Electoral Act 2022 clearly says that for any candidate to invoke ethnocentric sentiments in the prosecution of his campaign, that will be deemed against the provisions of the Electoral Act. Unfortunately, the two other leading candidates have consistently deployed ethnocentric theatrics and philosophies in the pursuit of their candidacy. The only candidate who has spoken to Nigerians, and the only candidate who apparently among the leading four, who's apparently pushing a pan-Nigerian philosophy, is Peter Gregory Obi. He's the only one who has told Nigerians, do not vote for me because I'm evil. Vote for me because of my competency and capacity. And that's exactly what the law of our land talks about. But some have said, oh, I want to be a northern candidate who thinks about Nigeria. Some have said, it's my turn, Emiolokon, to rule Nigeria. Some have said it has to be southwest for a southwest candidate. But I think that fundamentally we must understand that hunger is indiscriminate of ethnicity, that hunger is indiscriminate of religion. We must understand that joblessness is indiscriminate of ethnicity and religion. And we must understand that insecurity is indiscriminate of region and religion. And so fundamentally, what Nigeria needs going forward is a candidate who appeals to every tendency and faith, is a candidate who is pan-Nigerian, is a candidate who sees Nigeria as a collective enterprise and belongs to the Hausa man as well as it does the Igbo man, belongs to the Yoruba man as it does the Efik man, belongs to the Robo man as it does the Jokun man. And that candidate is Peter Obi. And that is why when we talk about these fundamental issues about the way forward for our country, we're talking about removing from ethnocentric sentiments, removing from insult diatribes and, if you like, name calling to the fundamental issues of nationhood. And the candidate to whom that matters, and the candidate to whom that is of primacy, is Peter Obi of the Labour Party.
All right, but Mr. Nwokobi, I want to take you back, please. We still want to get from you what the likely implications of going otherwise could be for political parties across the country. I don't think that's been spelled out.
The Electoral Act says that INEC has the right to disqualify. Will they? I hope they can step their feet on the ground and ensure that either they give express warning to the candidates or they proceed to employ and deploy the provisions of a law to disqualify any candidate who decides to deepen our fault lines and who decides to polarize our country on the grounds of ethnicity and religion. I think that the time has come for us to work towards a republic that is that enhances the frontiers of brotherhood rather than division.